Hello, everybody. Spirit of 420 here with the final part of Big Panda, Tiny Dragon. It's not very long. There is some additional reading, though, that I'm going to read. And what I mean by that is, afterwards. And I believe it's an acknowledgement. So, nonetheless, I hope everybody's excited for a nice weekend. Hope everybody had a blessed Friday and TGIF as well, obviously. Before I get started, I think it is only fitting that I get this joint going. I'll just get it ready. Got to have, a nice burner for the book, a book burner, right? Got to. I mean, what's a good book without a good joint? I don't know. I can't remember reading a good book without a good joint, personally. And that's the way to start off the show, no matter what, is firing up a Jaybird. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. To my tummy. I believe this is a mixture of sour grapes and some other things. I got this just the other day from the dispo, and oh, how good it is. Got some of it packed here in Lodel, Lord of the Limitless. That is definitely a harsher hit, but well worth it, right? Well worth it. All right, so onward. Some kind of soldier. There we go. Spring, which is the second spring of the book, because if you remember, the book starts off with, I'm not gonna do it there, but here is the original spring, the first spring down there that y'all can see in the corner, right? And then here we are at the end now, at the same spring you are, that's on the screen here. So get right into it. Butterflies struggle most just before they emerge. Isn't that funny? Do you believe in reincarnation? Asked Tiny Dragon. Big Panda yawned. I believe that every minute of every day we can let go and start again. Well, he did not answer his question, did he? I mean, I have to say, way to go, Big Panda. I didn't hear your answer in that. Maybe I missed it. And if we backtrack to the butterfly, I think the whole point of that one is the message that I continue to preach and is already in this book, right? Earlier, and that is, what is that message, dummy? Oops. Out of bad comes good. Out of chaos, many times comes calmness and transformation, focus, right? It's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Nice little drawing there of the butterfly now, right? Even a damaged tree can produce the most beautiful blossoms. Am I the only one that's ever seen that? I like to think that I'm not the only one that's had that awesome privilege of seeing like a near dead tree or plant, bush, even, but trees are more incredible, but near dead, but there's just a little bit of life on it somewhere. Not always necessarily blossoming with a flower, but some kind of blossom. That's really cool. Had one in the front yard for a while and had to take it down. So, but there's a lot of beauty to it. Put it that way. It was nice see, and it, technically, the tree was still holding on, and I didn't like to have to cut it down, but it was for the safety of the house, and I'm sure you people understand that, right? Sometimes you just have to make good decisions for your future. That's all there is to it. So obviously, this is the end of the book, right? Are we nearly there yet? Asked Tiny Dragon. Big Panda smiled. I hope not. I have a feeling that is, yep. And I did want to read this. There's an afterword, and then there's also acknowledgments. They're not that long, and I think you'll enjoy them. So, some time ago, while I was in a difficult place, I happened across a book on Buddhism in a secondhand bookshop. I found the content fascinating and began investigating spirituality and meditation in greater depth. The more I learned, the more I realized I didn't need to be a slave to my negative thoughts. Having discovered something that so improved my happiness, I became more determined to help others. I joined the Samaritans, taking calls from people reaching out for help with loneliness, anxiety, and depression. The amount of human suffering really shocked me and inspired me to start a small support group for my local area, but the arrival of COVID-19 put a stop to those plans. Sorry, I have an intense freaking itch. Excuse me. Instead, I decided to draw pictures as a way of communicating these powerful transformational ideas to people in simple, accessible ways. Initially, I had no idea how successful it would be, but I've been contacted by people from many different cultures, religions, countries, and age groups letting me know how much my pictures have helped them through difficult times. I put all my heart into each picture, and I think that's why they speak to people. Each and every one has a little piece of my soul in it. My mom's an artist, and she would absolutely 100% agree. It's funny because she really doesn't like to selling her artwork. She'd much more prefer to sell, a print, and even then, she doesn't like to make prints because that, as she says, that takes away from the beauty of the original. But then she doesn't want to let go of the original because she loves it so much and it's so dear to her. So it's kind of funny. Anywho, it just made me think of that. So I thought that was a nice little afterward so that you kind of understand where this dude's coming from, right? And then his acknowledgments actually are pretty cool too. So this book is for the culmination of a lifetime this book is the culmination of a lifetime's experience. I therefore acknowledge everyone I've ever met. You have all forged me into the person I am now, and if I were not that person, I could not have created this. So thank you. But some people really stand out as having made this book a reality. Ruth, who has always helped me just being herself. She's the center of my world, and I love her more each day. I'm guessing that's his wife or lover or whatever, partner throughout time, right? My mother and father, who taught me to be self-reliant, to value art as a way to convey ideas, and who support me with all my strange plans. Without them in my life, I would have never believed it possible to make a living from art. Thank you. My brother and sister, Alan and Jane, you're always so encouraging and supporting. Ludo, I can't believe you did it. I wrote to so many agents, and you are the only one who believed in me. Thank you so much. I hope your faith is rewarded. I like to think I have gained a friend and an agent. And Eve, I know how much you do behind the scenes. Thank you. Just a little bit more. I just like this guy. Sorry. Again, his name, it's on the bottom there, but James Norby. And I'm Norbury. Scary. Excuse me. Dan, I really lucked out with you. I could not imagine any other editor having shared my vision so strongly or understood so deeply what I was trying to do. And many thanks to everyone else at Penguin Books UK who has worked so hard to bring my funny little pictures to the world. Aggie B, Sarah Lee, Sarah, comma, not Sarah Lee. Make sure. So let's just start over. Aggie, B, Sarah, Lee, John, Tracy, Dan, PB. That's, I don't get it. Rebecca, I do not want to try to pronounce that name. So that's Angeli, I guess. Vanessa, Sophie, Ellie, and Christina. My followers on social media, without your support and encouragement, I would not have carried on. Thank you. My fellow Samaritans, it can be rough sometimes. Knowing we are all there for each other makes a huge difference. Taking on the phone with the callers is a privilege, and their words have changed me in ways I can't explain. I don't think this book would exist without them. And of course, my animal friends. You keep me sane while driving me insane. I believe that is it. Yep. The rest of it is just credits and bullshit. So I don't know about you folks, but you know, they're different. And okay, so let me give context to that. I really still love The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I just absolutely adore that book. But you know, I really, I truly adore this one too. It's got its own beauty, and obviously what's in it, you know, or what it's about, I should say, or what it focuses on, is exactly what it is, and that is, you know, breaking life down to its simplest concepts. Sometimes that's the easiest way to do things. You know, it's funny because, you know, I'm looking at what am I going to do from here is constantly, you know, on my mind. What I mean by that is what, you know, what's the next step? What do I do next? Where do I take even, you know, this stupid little show and the little things that I'm doing, you know, what's the next step, right? If each person, I should say, can break down what they believe life to be in the simplest of terms and keep it as simple as possible, you know, I find that to be extremely helpful. You know, overthinking life is a very common thing. It's funny because, you know, I don't want to give a spoiler alert, so I won't say what in what context this is from. But there was something that I saw not too long ago where one of the main characters was just deathly afraid of death, right? That was the whole thing. And I remember thinking, you know, that would be really focused on it, right? Or fixated on it, if you will, is one thing, but to fear it when you know that each one of us has to face it, well, that would suck, you know. And it seems like to me the first thing that somebody like that would want to do is find a way to let go of the fact that the inevitable will happen to you at some point. You know, to me, the beauty of it is, and some people would disagree with us, I know, but the beauty of life is that we don't know when we're going to die. So that really urges you to take each and every moment as if it was your last and really live life to its fullest, right? Anything less is wasting your time here, you know. But to sit and have it, and I guess that's a common syndrome, disease, whatever you want to call it, to fear death. I would say that I'm more on the other spectrum. I don't fear it. I'm fascinated by it. What's on the other side, maybe fixated on the concept of it, which is what, considering what just recently happened as well, which I already was. So, it's kind of, I don't believe in coincidence. So it's no coincidence that I was becoming fixated with this when I had to really deal with it in the worst way imaginable. And I'm not trying to, not a pity party. I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to deal with it, this is how I ended up dealing with it. It's the worst way I could have ever imagined having to deal with it. But I was more prepared than ever. Over the months and everything that I was doing with this, it wasn't fixated on death. But, what you didn't know is that I'm always thinking about it. I don't know if y'all are like that, but, 50 years old, I know I have, most likely less time here than I have spent here. And I keep, and when I say fixated, I'm fixated on the other side of it, because you can say what you want, but there's going to be another side of it. This life ends. Yes. That I absolutely 100% understand. But I do believe something else begins at that time. What that is, that's the big question. If you're an atheist or an agnostic, you say there's nothing. To me, the fact that we don't know what's after death is the answer that there is something after it. Because if we knew, then that would give us the ability to make certain changes here. But because we don't know what's on the other side, that forces us to learn, if you think about it, as a human race at an exponential rate, right? Like if we don't learn very quickly, we're going to die. So we've learned, which is like, what they're still doing. And I think it's funny, but what's constantly going on right now, right? With all these, or one of the big focuses, I should say, in the world right now is anti-aging, which I think is just totally funny. One of the articles I was reading, it was all about the cells, and if they're making, if somehow finding a way to slow down the growth of the cells also includes like bone density and all that stuff, and not just looking good, it's not really going to do a whole lot. And when I'm not just talking about bone density, right? But heart, like your heart gets old, your lungs get old, things get old. It's just the way it is. You're not meant to last forever. To me, being fearful of it means that never at any point did you come into full acceptance of what your life is. It's why, I think there should be more teaching at a younger age about death. I think there used to be. And what I mean by that is, back in the day when people died much earlier, well, you were telling kids earlier. And the concept is the longer we live, then, the more you can kind of keep kids away from it, right? You'd be surprised how many people keep their kids away from death. But that doesn't do a person any good, right? It's never any good to present something different than the reality, period, because then it's a shattering of that reality once they understand what is reality, right? That's all there is to it. So I dare all you folks to be different. Don't hide death from your children. To me, I think what would be awesome is if there was a children's book that really explored the concept of life and death, both sides, right? Because just like everything else that I talk about personally, and my wife reminded me that on the way home today, there was some jerk driver, and she was like, "Hey, you, based on your own philosophy, if you didn't know that jerk ass driver, you wouldn't know a really nice driver." Like, all right, thanks, good call. Although it was absolutely true, and I did not argue with her. I was like, "You're absolutely right." But that still goes in. The whole concept of that still comes in with life and death. If there wasn't death, then you wouldn't know life, and you wouldn't appreciate it the way we do. The one thing I can say is that because of death, we truly appreciate it. Any writer who's written on the concept of immortality or very, very long lives where you outlive everybody, like hundreds to thousands of years. The same things always come up. One, it's very lonely for those people. They're always going to outlive somebody they love. And they're going to have to continue to find new love, no matter how much or how deep the love and true the love was. They will have to continue to find new love. Most likely, they cannot, let's say this, they cannot necessarily, this is how I see it. Now, again, this is based on writing, so I'm really just talking fictional, but the reality is, in a world where nobody is immortal, if all of a sudden you were, odds are you either A, can't have children, or B, your children are not going to carry that same immortal gene. So either flip of the coin, one, you don't get to carry on. There's nothing to carry on, right? And what I mean by that is there's nothing that can really carry on your name or be your lineage or any of that kind of stuff, right? Or if it is, then they're going to die fucking too, man. You're going to outlive like every one of your fucking kids. Trust me, that's a shit thought right there. But, again, it's all about the balance. If you had a shitty day today, then I swear to you, tomorrow or the next day, it's going to be better. Maybe even a couple more days. Maybe you're going through a shit time like I've had where, it was days of shit. But that'll also mean there'll be days of sunshine and glory, right? And if you're having a glorious time right now, don't take this the wrong way. You're going to have a bad day, but just keep going with the glory until it's bad. And when it's bad, just remember, hey, I just had all this fucking awesome shit happen. It's okay. You have a little bad. You have to, or you wouldn't appreciate it, right? You would not appreciate a fucking thing if A, you got everything, or B, everything always worked out. You'd have no appreciation for it. None. It's funny because people who are considered to be downtrodden and all that kind of stuff, I think they have a greater appreciation many times for some of the smaller things, right? Like, for instance, just to be a real, not a downer, but reality check. If I was homeless, then a fucking bar of soap and a shower would be an incredible fucking thing to me. I already know that. I have had times of homelessness. So, that was like a treasure to be able to shower with a clean towel and put clean clothes on. Are you fucking kidding? I am not. I'm not hitting load again tonight. It's killing me. All I can tell you is I wasn't. I don't know why, but it is really kicking my ass. Oh, the coffee made it better. All right. Well, enough is enough. Is enough. I'm done. To Blaze. Oh, see, there was another cough. That's why I was. To blaze or not to blaze, there is no question. There is only to get high, to get by. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you for being awesome and incredible and different. I do want to give a shout out today. I woke up this morning and I now have just a shout out to both platforms. I've got over 5,000 followers on Twitter. Thank you so much, each and every one of you who do follow me there. And I'm now up to, I think, 120 subscribers on YouTube, and we still haven't gotten to a year. So can't wait to see where this thing is in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It'll be fun to watch. Anyway, I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful day. You're each incredible people. You're special. Let's see. Today is the 27th. Okay, so if I do this right, that means Sunday is the 29th. And there is 31 days next month or this month. So, yep, Tuesday. That's right. I actually already talked about this. I'll be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday due to next week's crossing over of the months. So I have a blessed weekend. This is kind of my 3-day weekend as far as the show is concerned. So I have a blessed time during that. I'll be tweeting as usual. And I love all of y'all. Who knows? I might end up doing a special show. I like to do a few of those every year or every season. So anyway, have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope you get to spend it with the ones you love. And until then, take it easy. Be sweet. Be nice. Remember to be nice. It's amazing if you just be nice. How many things are nice back to you? Right? It's awesome. Peace.
You can't have my phone number unless we running up the digits. Let me meditate, I just need a couple minutes. Tryna low bump me, my cojones to the big ass. Bitch, I get high. I ain't looking at the clock.